What's going on, y'all? This is Zerd from ZuCast, and I'm sitting beside a genius, super smart, one of the smartest people I know on this planet, recipient of the Bravo Award and Director of Undergraduate Advising and Research at Virginia Commonwealth University. I'm sitting with Dr. LaChelle Waller. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. It's such a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for inviting me.
Definitely. What exactly is your job title?
Okay, so I am currently the Director for Undergraduate Advising and Undergraduate Research in the Department of Chemistry. I also teach courses throughout the semester, and my Ph.D. is in Genetics, Bioinformatics, and Computational Biology, so it gives me a little diversity to be able to do quite a few things on campus.
Wow, that's a lot. So with all that, I just want to talk about what it took for you to get to where you are right now.
Okay.
So let's go back, way back. At what age did you take an interest in, is it STEAM or
STEAM?
STEAM.
I include the arts because I think that arts are ideal and it provides that creativity when you are doing anything in the STEM field. So science, technology, engineering, and math, I believe that there must be an arts component so that it's great.
So why STEAM? Why are you so interested in that?
Okay. Growing up, I always knew that I liked science. I knew that I wanted to be a doctor, but I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what type of doctor or that there were even types of doctors. The only doctor I knew as a first-generation college student was my pediatrician. So, my pediatrician and our eye doctor, those are the doctors that I knew. I didn't even know that there was a such thing as a Ph.D., EDD, a DO, an OD.
I don't even know. I don't even know
no
that.
idea.
What's going on?
Growing up, I think in middle school is when I really got excited about doing hands-on experiments, but it wasn't until 9th grade when I really realized that maybe science was the way I was going to go.
So at that time, how did you learn more about the different type of doctors and all the stuff within STEAM?
So I didn't even really learn about the different areas of STEAM until I actually got to college. When I was in 9th grade, I had a science teacher, Dr. Jackie McDonough, who realized at an early age that I was on a path that wasn't going to be very positive. So in 9th grade, I was making A's in her class, but as a freshman, you're trying to learn your way around high school and just trying to just do your own thing and trying to fit in with everyone else. And that second 9 weeks, my grade quickly dropped to a D. So she realized very quickly that I was going in the wrong direction, and she had received a grant that she had written to develop a wetland at Thomasdale High School. And she realized that I knew what I was doing really well, and she said I wasn't going to eat lunch with my friends anymore. I was going to come to her classroom every day during lunch, and I was going to teach all the students how to test the pH of the wetland.
Wow. So you got A's. Now, with getting A's, was that like easy? Was that slight work for you?
It was hard. For me, in high school, I didn't really know. Like, I wasn't in National Honor Society or anything like that. I just worked hard. I just really worked hard, and I wanted to do well. But I wasn't in National Honor Society or anything like that. So going to college and saying I wanted to be a doctor, it was just, that's exactly what I was doing. I was saying it. I was an athlete as well. And because I was an athlete, I was good, so I knew I was going to go somewhere to play basketball after high school. But I didn't really know what that meant for academics. And so I graduated. I graduated on the collegiate track and did really well. But when I got to college, that's when I really realized that I needed some direction. So my college basketball coach, Coach Alston, I will never forget it, Jeanette Alston. I was cheerleading and playing basketball and just trying to do a lot, and I didn't really understand time management very well at all. So that first semester was not a good semester. I should have probably been on academic probation. And she realized that pretty quickly, and she said, you're going to go to tutoring, we're going to do this, and she just kind of laid it all out. And that's when I got it together. And ever since that first 9 weeks, I started making dean's lists, president's list, managing basketball, worked a night job from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., and I was tutoring science courses. And that's when I realized that I was good at science, because they hired me to be a tutor. And I loved everything about that. And that's when I realized, I'm going to go in this direction.
Wow, you're very awesome. Your grind is crazy. Let's go back. So you're talking about basketball and cheerleading. So I heard about you at my school. I heard that you were a basketball star at Thomasdale. What position did you play?
So I played center. I played a 4 position and a 5 position.
Whoa.
So I'm a post.
How many points were you getting per game, if you remember?
Oh, goodness. So at Thomasdale, I was probably averaging, it just depends when you're talking about it. So by my senior year, that's when I received MVP and had, made some regional and district teams. And that's when I was probably, in double digits with basketball, rebounding, and scoring. Not until I got to college is when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame for scoring over 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds.
God, dog.
So,
like, college, what colleges were you interested in as far as like playing basketball in school and whatnot?
Good question. So I wanted to be a Hokie. That's where I wanted to go straight out of high school. I wanted to go to Virginia Tech, but I didn't get in. I did not get into Virginia Tech. Nope. So I ended up going to a smaller school, Chowan College at the time. It's now Chowan University, and it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because that's when I had a smaller environment. I really realized what type of student I was, what type of learner I was. I really began to grow. I did internship opportunities. I worked with some amazing professors at that university. I had a great basketball coach, and I think in that kind of environment I excelled. And I don't think I would have done as well if I would have went to a huge institution right out of high school.
Oh, you cheered too.
I did. I cheered. Cheerleading was my passion. This 5'11", 100-something pound, tall female. My passion was cheerleading. I loved everything about it. And when I made the cheerleading team and basketball team the first year, that's when they made me decide which sport I was going to choose. And I did not love that at all. I thought that was horrible. Yeah. That I had to choose. Yeah. And initially I chose cheerleading. I chose cheerleading initially, and then I realized that I loved basketball, and it was something that was natural, and I ended up going back to basketball, and I'm glad that I did, because that took me to college and it allowed me to do some great things, to travel and to get experiences that I probably would not have had otherwise.
How was that whole process of like picking a college and applications and whatnot?
Good questions. I had no idea what to do. As a first generation college student, I didn't know what I was doing. And that's when it's really important to have great counselors and mentors, because when you don't, or when you're just going through this process, you're kind of doing it blindly. And that's how I felt. I applied to schools and I didn't get in, and I kept trying, and then I finally got in. And then when I went to the school, I didn't know what to expect with financial aid. I mean, it's just this whole path that you are on, this process of trying to figure it out while you're going through it. And that's hard. Yeah. I mean, that's a really difficult situation in itself. I've only had one Black teacher my entire life, and that was my 9th grade science teacher, Jackie McDonough. Wow. So even as in undergrad or graduate school, it's always been trying to identify mentors and not afraid to ask those questions when you're just unaware or you don't know. And we weren't rich growing up. I mean, people think now, in the community that we grew up with this silver spoon, but we didn't. My mom is quick to tell anyone we were really poor. And my parents worked really hard to get where they are. And I saw them working hard, and that motivated me. And I knew that I had a goal to be a doctor, not knowing what that meant. Yeah. But I knew that I wanted to do that, and I have always been determined. And so just trying to learn the process, trying to figure out what college is about. I had no idea how to fill out a FAFSA. It was just a hard situation to be in.
So, like, other than your counselors, who could you go to for advice?
We were just doing it, so I would get the papers and I would kind of talk to my parents about it and pretty much just fill it out, and if it was wrong or if there was an error, I'd wait to hear back from whoever we were applying from so that we could fix it. But my parents didn't go to college, so we didn't know what that process looked like. And one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Virginia Tech is because I had a cousin who went to Virginia Tech to play football, 2 of them. And their experience seemed so great, and I wanted to know what that felt like as well. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Virginia Tech right off, because they were the only, cousins that I knew that I was close to that had gone to a college.
Nice. So after graduating from, what was it, Chowan? Chowan University. What year was that?
2001.
Okay, 2001. So after graduating, what happened next?
So I graduated from Chowan, and because I had done really, really well as an athlete and in academics, I had to make some decisions. So I decided I was going to try out for a pro basketball team. And I tried out and made it. I did. I got the opportunity. To go to China to play.
Oh, wow.
And there were some options there to play overseas. And then what we ultimately decided is during that same time, my mom was diagnosed with lupus and scleroderma. So that's when I had to make a decision for me if I wanted to stay here and help my mom, or if I was going to go overseas and pursue my basketball career. And I decided that I wanted to be a doctor. And so that's when I decided to stay, and I decided to accept a teaching position. So I taught anatomy, physiology, and biology in RPS, the Richmond Public School System, and that's when I was reunited again with my 9th grade science teacher. So I ended up teaching over at Virginia Commonwealth University as well, and taking some courses, because going to school, I majored in biology, minored in chemistry, but I always knew I wanted to be a doctor. So I didn't have any education background, but I received this opportunity to teach. So they selected 11 teachers that were doing great, and they put us in a program to provide graduate level courses and courses to help you with writing a lesson plan and classroom management, which was great because I didn't have any of that going through undergrad. So it was like I was learning to be a teacher in the classroom at the same time learning what it took to be a teacher in the classroom.
Yeah.
I'm 21 and my students in my classroom are 18.
Yeah, this is a lot.
So it's just a lot going on at that time. And but it was great. It was a great experience for me. I ended up staying there for 2 years at the school. Wonderful students. It helped me realize my passion for education and the sciences. And then I said I'm going to apply to get into medical school. But at that time, I was really focused on genes and genetics because my mom was going through scleroderma and lupus, and this was a genetic thing to me. I wanted to be more aware of that, so I applied to a Ph.D. program at Virginia Tech, the school that I had always wanted to get in. And I received a great opportunity to be on a $7.5 million grant to pursue my doctorate degree in genetics, bioinformatics, and computational biology, where I ended up being the only, the first African-American male or female to receive that PhD from Virginia Tech, and ended up giving the commencement address the year I graduated. So from not getting in to my dream school, I ended up doing some great work, and I travel back there every semester as I sit on the Women in Leadership Advisory Committee.
Wow, that's very, very beautiful, and this is
thanks.
super inspiring. I can't wait for everybody to hear this, because this is great. So being in that program at Virginia Tech, how challenging was that?
Oh, that was very challenging. I can't tell you how many times I probably called home crying, like, I'm coming home. I cannot do this. Because I didn't know who to go to. And this was a new program. Everything was new. And it was hard. It was just really, really hard. And I didn't feel like I was prepared. And, every day you're just learning. You're taking classes, and you're just trying to network and collaborate and understand what it's like to be in a lab full time. And it was just a really difficult time initially when I first got to Tech. That same year, and that's when I actually became homeless. Because there was a situation that had happened in the apartment that I lived in. I had received a great opportunity to go study at Dartmouth for the summer. And when I returned back, mold had taken over everything. Wow. And so they quarantined my apartment with all of my stuff in it, all of my classroom, my class materials, everything. And the semester was about to start, and I didn't have anything, not even a laptop. Everything was there. Wow. And I had to stay in this other place that they put me in while they were trying to get this quarantine situation taken care of with mold everywhere. So it's just a really rough start for someone going to grad school who is just first generation college student, not alone trying to pursue a Ph.D., which no one in my family had done. But I met some amazing individuals there. The dean of student at Tech was fantastic. They put me in a new home. I met some great people at the church that I went to, so that became my support system. Started holding Bible study groups at my place, and just really trying to just pray a lot to get through during that time. And I met some great students, colleagues that are now colleagues and really good friends of mine during that time. So grad school was a challenge. It was definitely a challenge.
So how did you push through, and what kept you going?
So for me, being able to call back home, having that support from family and friends that were here, that was definitely something that really motivated me. Having my church family on campus. I actually also became a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Okay. So having my sorors there for support was great. I became very, very involved as a graduate student leader. And I think that helped to open doors for me, to give me the courage to ask questions and to just take risk and to do things that were outside of the box. I became that type of student. I was very, very driven to learn more and to do more and just to be involved. And I think that was one of the reasons I was able to strive during really, really difficult times, is because I had so many individuals that were praying for me and that were there as support.
Nice. What was the feeling like on graduation day? I know that had to be like...
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So during that time, Tech had gone through a lot. We had gone through the tragedy on campus, and I had traveled out of the country, studied at Switzerland, Italy, Milan. Really just taking advantage. So I really had a chance to reflect over my tenure as a graduate student. And during that time, I also became a mom. So that was interesting in itself when you're trying to finish your PhD with a newborn baby. But just being asked to be the Graduate Commencement Speaker was just, I felt really proud that I had gone through so much, had overcome so much as a student, and was now a new mom, and was able to share my story. And during that time, I had 95 friends and family travel to Blacksburg to actually hear me give the commencement address as a graduate student. So it was just a really great time. And for me, it was just that feeling that now I was able to tell another student who was going through as a first generation student or was having some kind of difficulties that they could do it. Like if I could do it, they could do it. So my message was more of, I hope that I'm an example and some type of inspiration to others who may be having a really difficult time or don't see themselves as, achieving their goals of whatever that might be. For me, it was, I really wanted to be a doctor so that I could have a seat at the table. I would be able to have these type of conversations. I would be able to start things in our communities. And I would mostly be able to talk to young African-American females and let them know that if I can do it from where I was born and raised, that they can do it as well.
So your daughter, how does she change your life?
Oh my goodness. So the title of my talk when I graduated was Lessons from a 2-Year-Old. Because at this point, she was now 2. So we had been on this journey for 2 years. And she taught me a lot about time management taking a nap, having a timeout while that's important from time to time, about frustration and why it's good to let that out and not keep that inside. She taught me a lot, and about priorities, about what my values were, and it actually taught me to self-reflect on who I really was. I thought I had all the patience in the world until you're tested by a 2-year-old, and it really teaches you a lot about your character, your integrity, and who you are. And it, to me, taught me to love even harder. Right, every moment is a chance to just be appreciative of all the things that you have, and you see this little small tiny human growing up to become themselves, and you realize how amazing life is. So from a scientist's point of view, I'm seeing this, cells divide, I'm seeing her grow, I'm seeing her brain develop, and so I'm thinking of that from a scientist's point of view. But just as a mom and as someone who is very family oriented, it made me love even harder.
Wow, that's beautiful. Does she want to be a doctor like you?
This child, and she's in the 6th grade now, and she loves the arts. So that takes me back to STEAM. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about STEAM is because in order for me to even convince her to come on my side of the town with chemistry and math and technology and science, she sees the beauty in the arts and how it's a part of that, and that's made me value that even more, because she just loves everything about music and dance and technology and cameras. I mean, she's so into it, and so it makes me even more passionate about it as well.
Will she be coming to Thomasdale for the Specialty Center for the Arts?
That's her goal. So she loves dance. We've talked about this. She's in her elective right now is career exploration over at Davis Middle School. So she is really taking the opportunity. She's in chorus right now, and she'll go to drama.
Doing it all.
Yes, she's doing a computer. So that will be really interesting to see where she will go. But I don't want her to follow in my footsteps. I want her to take her own path and be even better than me. Yes, I've done some cool things. I've been flown out to meet with the Queen of England. I've represented the university as a student leader. I've taken advantage of great opportunities, but I know that there's so much more out there. I feel like I learned about this when I was in college, right? So I want students to learn about this in kindergarten, so they can progress, and this will be normal for them.
So after graduating from Virginia Tech and all the things that you've done at that age, what happened next?
So I accepted a really great position at a medical school in North Carolina, where I was an assistant professor in 2 different departments, and working with genomics and personalized medicine. And that was a great experience for me because I always wanted to work with patients. And my research really focused on plants. So I was looking at disease resistance and quantitative resistance, and how these organisms were able to overcome any type of rot or anything to the cell. And I wanted to really look at this quantitative resistance and how I could take my genomic and genetic background and apply that to humans. And one of the best things about working with plants is they don't talk back, right? They don't talk back, right? You put them in a room, you shut the door, they don't talk back. So really having that opportunity to do work where I was working in the clinics and working with getting to know people in the community led me to community-based participatory research, where I got to meet some amazing individuals who are minorities in our communities, and I realized I loved that. I was able to also teach at a historically Black institution. I also taught at a community college where I was teaching biology, and then I was able to develop programs in the communities to work with parents and students that were ESL, and really build those relationships so that we could get them excited about science fair projects. So it really, for me, I realized that I loved doing what I was doing, but I really enjoyed working one-on-one with students and parents and community partners. And so that led me to do some great things with the fellowship opportunity that I had done. And then it led me back here. For personal reasons, I came back to Virginia and was able to do a fellowship in engineering and education to improve STEM education for underrepresented and at-risk youth, and developed a nonprofit organization because my daughter didn't have any summer programs that she could participate in. There were none in the area, and I wanted to go to one school, and they said that their focus was on reading. Like, well, if you can't read the science brochure, then so it was just I decided to take more risk, and instead of complain about things, develop them and bring things to our community.
Wow, nice. So you mentioned earlier that you met the Queen of England.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What's the story?
Okay.
Let us know.
So a lot of things had gone on the Virginia Tech campus, and I had received a call from the president's office asking if I would represent the university as a graduate student leader. And I had a lab meeting and that same day, and I went in to talk to my advisor, and I said, I got a call from the president's office asking if I would meet with the Queen of England. Is that okay? And he's like, no, you have a lab meeting. And he started laughing because he's from Australia. And so he said, absolutely, of course. So there was protocol that we had to learn, of course. And it was a really difficult time for us at the university, but it was amazing to see our university come together as one at Virginia Tech and really love on everyone and do what we can to help individuals who had gone through the tragedy. And it was just a beautiful time for a lot of us. And so, representing the university, meeting her, learning protocol, just helped me to realize why it's important to be a student leader, why it's important to take advantage of opportunities that you may not even know that door is going to open for you. So that's how that evolved. And it's just been I feel like my entire journey as someone who I call myself never-ending learner, right? I'm always learning all the time and trying to put myself in positions where professional development is a must in order to grow. And so I encourage students to do that, and colleagues and friends to do that as well.
Yeah. What countries have you gone to while in college?
So when I was an undergrad, I had never traveled abroad. I didn't travel abroad until I got to grad school and really took advantage of a program that allowed students, there were 11 of us that were chosen to travel we went to Italy, Switzerland, Milan, Munich. Oh, goodness. We were just having like such a good time over there. And right now I've been to, I've gone to Jamaica, I've gone to the Bahamas. One of the big things for me, for my daughter, is for her to see all 50 states in the U.S. and then to take at least one abroad trip a year as well. So that's something we're trying to really hit on our things to do before she's 18. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Because I didn't do those things until I got to grad school, and I value traveling to other cultures and experiencing other cultures, and I think everyone should get the chance to do that.
What's like your favorite country that you visited so far? Like you could live there.
So I like being home in the U.S. I just like being home around family and friends. But one place I really did enjoy was Switzerland. I thought it was beautiful. Virginia Tech does have a villa there.
What is that?
In Switzerland, they have a villa where students can actually go and learn. So when we were there, we actually stayed at the villa that Virginia Tech owns. And it was a great experience for me. And it was a very diverse group of us who all went to go. So I encourage anyone, and even my students today, if they have the opportunity to study abroad, I encourage them to go over to the Globe office and see what that looks like. And if there are any classes that would transfer back as a chemistry major, I encourage them to do that.
So can you talk about some of your STEAM groups, programs, and stuff like that?
Yeah, okay, of course. So I have founded a nonprofit organization called TRAK D. And what we do is we work with kids and their parents from underserved and at-risk communities that are kindergarten through 5th grade. That was our goal. So we've already worked with around almost 5,000 youth and their parents in the last 5 years.
Wow.
We hold a STEAM camp every summer here in Chesterfield County. We started off at an elementary school running the camp, but now we run it at the Governor's School for Engineering, which is a wonderful space over at LC Bird, because if you're interested in engineering, that's where you're going to apply to get in.
Yeah.
So for our students to be in kindergarten through 5th grade doing STEAM projects, collaborating and networking with some of the best and the brightest that are coming from different universities, different industry partners that are coming in to work with our students during the summer. It's great. It's great to see them work on their projects and to present in a symposium type of environment at the end of the camp. We run after-school programs. We are also doing programs throughout the school year where we are working with kids and changing gyms into STEAM labs, where we're inviting our college students to come out and work with our kids as well. So we're just trying to find ways where we can provide opportunities for our youth in our communities. TRAK D is very dear to me. Again, I share that this became a reality because my daughter didn't have a program to participate in, because at that time she was in 1st grade. So there were no STEAM type programs for younger individuals, where I feel like you should be doing these programs sooner than later because they're sponges at that age. And so the more information that you can give to them when they are going to middle school to select electives, now STEAM and STEM is a part of their conversation.
Can you talk a little bit about this award right here?
Yes, okay.
What
So
is this?
this is the heaviest award I have ever won, ever.
Yeah.
This is the Bravo Award, and each year the Chesterfield Education Foundation, which provides opportunities to give funds and to the Chesterfield County schools, they select 6 individuals to receive the award. So we're recognized as outstanding alumni who've graduated from a Chesterfield County public school. And this year I was recognized with 5 other amazing alumni. It made me question if I should even receive the award. Like, seriously, I questioned, like, am I really being honored with these amazing individuals? And it just recognized us for the work that we have done in our communities, recognized us as being successful alumni who are giving back, and we reflect what CEF is really doing in our communities. And so it's a great event. It was a gala where we received the award on Thursday. But for me, I think one of the exciting things is I was able to return back to the high school I graduated from. They had arranged an opportunity for me to meet with 9th grade African American girls on the Chester Middle campus. So I'm going to say Chester Middle because it will always be Chester Middle to me. So it's nice to walk through those halls again and to meet with these girls and then share my story and encourage them that no matter how tough things get, there are always individuals that believe in them and that, you know, we will be there to be support for them. But it was even more unique for me is that they selected me to talk to 9th grade African American girls. Where in 9th grade, that was when I met my 9th grade science teacher, the first Black science teacher or teacher I've ever had that encouraged me and saw the best in me and pushed me to be the best person that I could be. So, you know, this award for me, I am very humbled and honored to receive it because, you know, I know how hard it was for me to get through being a student, a first generation college student. I know that it was difficult and it was a lot of work. So I'm just honored to receive the award so I can continue to encourage the next generation of students that are going through those halls to continue to work hard and achieve their goals as well.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So beautiful. You really deserve that.
Thank you.
Very proud. So do you have any advice for those who want to work in STEAM?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say ask questions, and if you have a goal that you're trying to attain or achieve, do not listen to others that may tell you otherwise. Like, there are always going to be naysayers. There are always going to be individuals who are saying you may think that you're better than someone else, or why do you think you can do this? I tell students, I tell anyone, get a plan, right? And identify what that plan is, and identify individuals that will be there to support you and to continue to build you up so that you can achieve those goals. I know for me, I was the first out of my friends and family to go forward to receive a PhD, so I didn't know who to talk to. Yeah. It was just trying to achieve that goal, and I had some really great friends who were there that answered the phone when I was crying, or that gave me the encouragement to continue to move forward when I felt like I wanted to give up. And I encourage students to network and collaborate, take advantage of opportunities to do internships and co-ops. There's so many of them out there that are looking for students to take advantage of them, that aren't applying for those scholarship opportunities. And one of the reasons why a lot of students don't is because they don't know what questions to ask. They don't know where to look. And that's when I tell students, start somewhere and start asking questions. And it's okay to step out of the box and do things that others are not doing. It's okay. And be different. Be different. Like, no one that I know is where they are because they've done what everyone else has done, right? People call me different all the time and extra all the time, but it has gotten me to where I am today, and I wouldn't change it.
Wow, that's beautiful. What do you have to say to those young Black girls that want to do STEAM? Like, talk to them right there.
Yes. So for you all who are excited about science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, I am telling you today that there is a need for you all in these fields of study. And if you do not feel as if you are worthy enough, that should be your motivation to continue and want to do it, right? It is not going to be easy. It's not at all times. But there are individuals who have walked where you all are trying to go, and they will be there to support you, to answer your questions, to send you emails, to network with you, to make sure that you have the resources that you need to be successful. And so I tell students, it's going to take hard work. You're going to have to study. You're going to have to pick up your math skills. You're going to have to, take some additional courses, or maybe do some things that you may not want to do to get where you need to be. But do not give up. Continue to work hard, and you will achieve your goals.
Is there anything else that you would like to talk about?
This has just been great. This is fantastic. I love what you are doing.
Thank you.
I am honored to be here to share a little bit about what I have done and where I'm going. I don't just work with girls, minority girls. I also work with lots of minority African American males as well, because we know the statistics. And we know that we want those numbers to increase, and we want individuals to be successful. And I know it does make a difference to see someone who has actually gone through it and who can share their experiences. So I love what you're doing. I think this is very, very innovative. And this is a part of STEAM, of course, because it's the technology and the engineering and the arts. So, it's fantastic. It's wonderful. And I thank you for allowing me to have this platform to encourage, our youth, our minority youth, to continue to work hard and achieve their goals.
Yeah. So this is the Dr. LaChelle Waller interview. Can we find you anywhere on social media or no?
So I need to do a better job. I am on Facebook.
Okay.
I am working on my Instagram and Twitter. We're going to update that. But you can find us at TRAK.org. Of course, we do have a website, and we have our TRAK Instagram page as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Zuri the Artist. You already know the deal. This is the Dr. LaChelle Waller interview. ZuCast. Peace.